What would be better than owning your very own sawmill? How about a sawmill that you could take anywhere you wanted? That is exactly what we're fixing to build. Look at that. From there to there, 28 feet of glory. I picked this up, Facebook Marketplace. Awesome people delivered it to my house. Didn't even have a deck on it. We didn't want the deck. We don't need the deck. Two 3,500-pound axles, and look at these. See that? That tire is still got the bands on it because that's how good shape she's in. Two weather check tires, two tires that are in decent shape. Suspect wheel bearings, but hey, you can't get her all. Had a VIN number on it, it's registered. Beauty hitch. And I ran a string line down the frame rail, and it's not even bent. Electric brakes, no lights, but you stick around for a minute, we'll show you how we're gonna fix that up. Wire wheel, I thought I had a wire wheel for the angle grinder, but I guess flat disc. And it's really just the white paint. There's a white paint at the front, a white paint at the back, because that's what used to stick out. You guys, some of you with a keen eye might recognize that this is not a true flat deck trailer frame. This used to be a travel trailer. So yes, a little bit lighter duty, but we're not hauling equipment on it. It just needs to haul. It just needs to haul the sawmill. So I got this to get in the crevices. Still got the original moss on it from 1983. I'd say we're almost done prepping here because, well, the Milwaukee grinder, she gets hot. And when it gets that hot, I guess you're done. So the fellow that I got this from, he owned it for quite a long time, and they were gonna make a hunting rig out of it. Put some accommodations, build a little bunkhouse on it, and then haul quads, I guess. But, well, like many of our plans, they didn't come to fruition, I guess. Give her a little blow down, get the dust off. The frame is remarkably rust-free. I don't know why that is. Well, it hasn't been on the road, that's why. Mainly used in the summer, right, when it was a travel trailer. And then tore down and sitting in someone's backyard. It doesn't get a lot of road salt and all that garbage on it. Just a little bit of paint prep that we're doing on this trailer. Maybe more paint prep than my cousin has ever done on his channel in its entire existence. What sort of color scheme are we gonna go with, you think? Oh my God, it just keeps going and going and going. Look at these things. Tremclad turbo spray system. I've never seen one of these before. Lo and behold, carried at the Holy Grail stores. Princess Auto. Don't get too excited watching the video there, I know. But just, you know, in case you're enjoying it, I'll keep going. All right, well, I got two cans. Just because they're big, does that mean they go far? Or they got the same amount of paint in them and they just have more oomph? Probably just more oomph. Oh boy. Oh, look at that. Look at that big flat nozzle. Well, did we shake it enough? I don't know. Let's find out. Results. Oh man. That's impressive. That's really impressive. That does a good job. Here, let's get this. Watch this. Huh. I'll tell you. I don't think you have to know anything about painting to know that's pretty awesome. Let's not waste it though and get this show on the road. Okay, I think potential was wasted on the first can by trying to get smaller stuff. I'll just get the frame rails, and then if we need to get these little cross members, we'll just get a little can. Now, of course, when you got a sweet project like this, you don't want to spare any expense. You go to the Princess Auto. Now get this. I got that. I got some extra wire. Marker lights. I actually looked up the rules, and it turns out if you look up the rules for a project before just doing the project, well, the project gets more expensive. If the trailer is over 30 feet in length, you require a marker light at the front, a midpoint marker light, and a rear marker light. And if the trailer is over 80 inches wide at its widest point, then you require a set of 3 rear marker lights in addition to your tail lights. I didn't know that, but I thought I should look it up just in case. What else did I get here? Oh, I got some snazzy clips here. You're gonna need those, and the finest butt connectors and electrical tape, because I mean, if you're doing trailer wiring, nothing says problem free like some plain old butt connectors wrapped in electrical tape. Not the project that I set out to do today, but it's just bugging me. We have these gorgeous apple trees, and one of them had a branch that didn't fare too well over the winter. It kind of ripped it off, so I chainsawed it off to get it away from the tree, and the dang thing started to grow buds on it. So figured, what's the worst that could happen? We dig a hole and we stick it in said hole, and maybe we end up with a 3rd apple tree. You never know. Let's give her a try here. See if our curve hole fits. Oh yeah. Anywho, that's what we're gonna go with. This here is the project that we're actually trying to get to. So I kind of kicked it into full bore mode without you, and well, we got some decking, we got some jacks. I'll show you all this good stuff, but what's your opinion? Are we headed in the right direction? 2 runners for the mill to sit on, and a walkway, and essentially the width of the trailer worked out perfectly to just accommodate all those things, and that's basically it. These RV jacks, well, the one and only Princess Auto. Why RV jacks, you ask? Well, because they were on the flyer sale. You're familiar with these. Oh, I need the handle. Screw jack, up and down. So I got 4 of them, 4 corners. And so I figure if you blocked, you parked on the wheels and got her pretty well leveled up, you could take out a lot of it with the RV jacks, and then of course the entire bed of the mill itself is adjustable. And I don't see a way that you would ever set it up on the trailer and not have to just do an absolute setup every time you move it, because if it isn't level and it's not straight, then it's no good. The straightness we can maintain because it's going to be screwed to the deck, but as far as level goes, I mean, come on, the trailer is 30 feet long. If I push on this corner, right, it's flexible, right? I mean, something you'd look for in a quality of maybe a girlfriend, but not something you're looking for as a quality in your sawmill trailer. But it's long, so it moves around. Fenders, that's what we're doing today. Man, I'll tell you the story of the fenders. We hit the jackpot. Hopefully this is gonna do the trick. 12-ton garage sale fine press. Only been used once before to, well, press some pieces into my buddy's pickup truck. But today we're gonna use it to modify our fenders. Now, modify the fenders. Why do they need to be modified? They don't actually, and they're not fenders. They're just a little bent, so I think we're gonna flatten them out in the press. Whew, head rush, stood up too fast. They're actually bumpers off of a Mack dump truck. Isn't that fantastic? What good fortune to be around such generous people. Donated to the project from the folks where we're currently working. They got some trucks. These are from years gone by. A couple of incidences maybe with a guy or two. But anyways, I actually thought they were fenders. I was like, oh, what's the deal with them fenders? And I go, oh no, those are bumpers off of a big truck. Oh, so they're super heavy. They're chromed already. That's like beyond expectation. The only thing we got to do is patch a couple holes where there was, like running lights and license plates. But outside of that, I don't know. You be the judge. Tell me that doesn't just look like a fender. The only thing, the other one's good to go. This one, that's where the despair happened. But I think we could press most of that out. It doesn't all have to go, but if it was a little bit flatter, it'd fit a little bit better. And I think it will actually just go right onto the fender mounts that are already on the dang thing. No welding, no nothing. Oh, and then for anybody that heard me say steel bumpers, they're obviously aluminum. My mistake. My mistake. They're not steel. Do I have to drop that back down? So I thought I'd stick her in the press, and we'll just put a chunk of another piece of plate on top of this, and then I should be able to crush most of that out. And what we don't crush out with the press, well, whack, whack. 2-pound body hammer. There you go. Okay, what's it gonna do? Moment of truth here. Did we make it better or worse? Well, I doubt we could have made it worse. Feast your eyes on that for a second. Give you an idea how far that bent when it got ripped off the truck there. That's a heck of a fold. Well, it's in my nature to muck with it just for like 1 second more, because it'd be awesome to get rid of that altogether, but I don't think it's in the cards. I don't want to, you know when you're at that point in a project where you're like, oh, just a little bit more, and then you try that little bit more, and then you're like, oh good, I wrecked it now. So can we just touch on how much of a mystery YouTube is? So I'm doing this, and all I can think of is like, okay, say this video somehow gets 1,000 views. Wouldn't that be fantastic? Did you tell your mom to watch the video? Go over to your neighbor's house, give them a link, Spruce Stomper YouTube channel, thumbs up, all that good stuff. There's gonna be tons of you watching, and you're watching going, oh man, if you'd have just done it this way, that would have worked so much better. I can feel that feeling, but there's no way for that to happen because you're gonna watch this after it's all done, you know? It's, I don't know, thrill of the chase, I guess. This is where the original deal mounted. There's a piece of angle iron sticking out there. So all I'm gonna do is just go in here and notch this out like that, and then this whole thing will just sit. It'll just sit right on that flat bar on the fender. So it should level the fender, give us a spot to secure the fender. I'll just have to make a couple of like wedge blocks to go in there and bolt it down. All right, we've already hit a decision to make here. I'm gonna explain myself only because it helps to talk things through. You want the fender to be level with the deck of the trailer. We also want to keep our budget as close to nothing as possible. So we're gonna keep that in mind as I'm explaining why I'm doing what I'm doing. Does this look funny to you? There is about 3 inches of fender sticking beyond that end versus this end because of the location that these brackets are welded on. So if I were to cut those off and re-weld them on and move them 1.5 inches forward, then it'd be perfectly centered over the wheels. But does it matter? Where are we going, right? So this is gonna sit a little closer to the tire, giving us pretty good coverage here. And then I think what we'll do is we'll just bolt a big old dirty mud flap on here, and aesthetically, with that big mud flap hanging down there, nobody will notice. It's level, and I think that's more important, don't you? That we're not, because that's worse, right? Kitty wampus, to make it even front to back. So we're going level fender, and you know, it's gonna have character, because when you're hauling around something like this, people aren't gonna be critiquing it like it's a china cabinet. They're just gonna wanna be discussing how dang cool it is, obviously. Well, the good news, the fenders fit perfectly. The bad news, somebody mounted a marker light right where the fender goes, and you can't see it. It kind of covers it up. So now that we have fenders on it, I think we're just gonna extend the wiring out with, you know, this quality remnants of a Princess Auto wiring harness. With any luck, this wire is, oh yeah, look at that. It's basically the right length. And let's mount the marker light on the fender, because, well, I think that's the point of a marker light, isn't it? To be on the widest part of the vehicle. Couple of zip ties here, you know, for the safety sake of the wiring. Because it'll definitely never rub through on the metal. It's probably fine for, well, I don't know how long, a second or two. Got a couple things to move out of the way here. If you have clicked on this video and you're like, well, what the heck is this trailer even for? Dun, 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 Timber Thunder Sawmill. There's a video on it. Watch that video first.
Yeah, that's a big one-lunger, man.
And then come back and finish this video. This is what we're after. This is all the track for the sawmill, which obviously needs to go on the trailer, turning this into a portable operation. I carried this stuff by hand last time from out in front of the shop when I set up the first time in here. We're not doing that again. It's a tractor season. I miss having the microphone though. I could take it with me in the tractor and talk to you while we're doing this. But you can't win them all, as they say. You gotta get both ends of the shot, you know, don't you know? Oh, you know. Oh, you know. Oh! Pretend you didn't see that. Get that on. Get on. I don't think that's how it works. I don't think it just moves itself. Man, it's nice in here. It's kind of filling up with crap again, though. I'm a little concerned about that. A little bit too much attention has been taken off the shop project. I gotta focus on something for more than a minute or two at a time. Dun, dun, dun. Look at that. Man, industrial caster wheels, they have grease nipples on them. This thing wheels around like butter, smooth as silk. It's like, what is that? 10 feet long, almost 12 feet, 10 feet by 4 feet. Beautiful. Oh man, that is heavy as it looks, boys. You know what kind of, it gets me down is the tripod sometimes. I feel like, you know, I feel like you're putting a bird in a cage, you know, with the tripod from time to time. That guy just wants to roll. Why is this on? And how long has it been on for? I wear it every day now. It's just like carrying a pocket knife. And it does look, maybe people think it looks funny, but they go, oh, what's that on your hat? And I just tell them, well, I'm not that bright, so the light helps a little bit. Okay, before we throw that onto that, we had to decide where it's gonna go. So those sections are about 6 feet or so. And anyways, the whole mill I think takes up 240 inches, which left me with 8 feet left over. So I think I'm just gonna split the difference. We'll leave 4 feet at the front, 4 feet at the back. If I go to use it and hate it, then we can rearrange. But I figured it'd give a good spot to like maybe put some saws or if it's blocking. I think I'm gonna put some cribbing just to leave for leveling. You know, when you move the trailer, then you got some dunnage with you for rigging stuff, and maybe a toolbox. If I come across an aluminum toolbox or something, could mount it on there to put chains and straps and whatever other stuff a guy learns he needs to go. There was a fantasy that edger could go with this. It would be all one part and parcel sawmill operation, but one, not enough room. Two, that edger, just the way it is now without the drive unit on, it weighs more than this whole trailer, so I'm not comfortable with it. There's not enough room. Like if I slid it all the way forward or back, I'd have 8 feet. We could put it on sideways, but I just don't think the trailer's up for the task. It's too flimsy. It is just over time, I think it would just start to wreck things. So we're just sawmill only, and the other thing will be it'll be a separate deal. We'll have to have a convoy. Okay, I got all the pieces on. Oh yeah, vent hole. We should maybe leave that. Lets the tires run nice and cool. I don't want to overheat on the highway. On all sections, centered on the trailer. So what we got to do is get the rails dead straight, and then I can screw the feet down. Each foot has 3 holes that you can screw it down, and then that should ever stop it from doing this, so we don't have to set up straightness. We only ever gotta set up for that. And then to do that, string The string line don't lie. Like so. Oh, we haven't forgot about you, you poor thing. We've been safe keeping you. It got shipped overseas with what I can only presume was the wrong piece. This must be for a smaller model, I guess. Leave your opinion in the comments and tell me what you think. So basically, this is your adjustable saw guide on the one side. And it's a couple guys keenly pointed out in the first video when I brought this home, says, well, why do you got the throat so wide? The support was way back over here, which allows for a ton of blade deflection. Well, that wasn't by choice. I had no choice because, as you can see, this is what it shipped with, and this is what I ended up putting in there. So you got two supports, basically. There's a support here with a couple of locking bolts and a hard plastic guide there. And then if we snake around here, there's another one there. So that bar runs through and you're able to slide the bar back and forth across that opening. Now this will cut, I think, 31 inches, it said. But I mean, it was essentially maxed out because the one it came with here, this little guy, the hole in the end is where all that mount and that sort of stuff would go. Those pieces up there. Well, if you'll look like that, if it's flush with that mount, which it has to be in it, it barely stuck out past the front one. Like there was zero adjustment. Like the pipe, ooh, that chunk of square tubing was the width of the two guides, zero adjustment. So I ended up putting a piece in there that is just over, it's like 40 inches long, a little bit longer than it was necessary. It'll allow me to choke it quite a bit. It's got a few different bolts and pieces that you can adjust to make sure the blade is running true, but you didn't miss out on anything special. I just drilled a couple of 7/8 holes, drilled and tapped some 5/16 spots for the bolts that lock the saw guide in and slid it through the holes. The only boo-boo I made, smoking tight the guides. You know, whenever you get something that's manufactured, mass produced overseas or is a knockoff of another brand, you're like, this is gonna be kind of shoddy. I haven't found anything that's disappointing. The tolerances on the plastic guides were like smoking tight. Like there was like 5/1000 of an inch of clearance. So I didn't check that before. I just assumed, oh, it's just square tubing, there's probably clearance. So I cut my piece and I painted it. Silly me, wanted to protect it from going rusty, because no way, no how could I track down a chunk of galvanized 1.5-inch heavy wall square tubing without buying a whole 20-foot length, which was pricey, and I didn't want to do that. So I just got a regular chunk of just regular old steel. I painted it, ended up having to flap disc all the paint off, and some, actually, a little bit. That was, just everything was too tight. So anyways, we'll squirt a little hydraulic oil or something on it. We'll keep the patina to a minimum. But let's go get the trailer and see if we can't make this project whole. So ideally, I think what a guy, obviously level is great, but the important part is that the track is true. So if you'll recall earlier in the video, we screwed it down to the deck, so it should maintain a reasonable degree of straightness. I think for the time it takes to run a string line, a guy would do that, because I'm not gonna set this up, I'm not setting this up 50 times a week. It's gonna stay in one spot most of the time, probably not here, but when we get the yard further sorted. I'm gonna level. It's not too bad. Obviously a guy just like leveling your RV maybe would pull it up on some blocks, I think, to get it a little closer, but I think maybe we're out by 1 inch. So we'll use the stabilizer jacks and the hitch jack at the front, and and then we'll just take the rest of it out with the adjustable feet. You know, I don't see how else. You guys with portable sawmills, let me know. How close does it need to be? Well, I don't do pretty close. I probably will fuss with it every time. We'll grab my laser level and we'll shoot it in and see. But I know, you know, dropping logs and jostling things around, well, it's probably gonna move. Oh, very exciting. The maiden voyage of the Princess Auto RV jacks. Get my very best level, the level I use for concrete and such, and we'll just kind of check that. So it says we're already a bit high here. That's pretty good at the front. I'm curious though, what does that translate to midway? It's not terrible. And back here, it says we're a bit high still on the front. So let's let that front down a bit more. Go up quite a bit. Gotta go up quite a bit. Footprint in the dirt. Like that. One more thing that'll have to go in the toolbox on this thing. It's definitely gonna need a toolbox. All right, so that worked really well. Now I've thrown the level on top of the saw guide there, and it's saying that ends the high side and this ends the high side. So I've got a dip in the middle, because all I did when we set this up is I just measured from here to here with a tape measure, and I just set them all the same. I thought that'd just be a good reference. You know, you need a starting point, but man, like I'm happy. What's the stability like? I mean, yeah, it's gonna bounce. See, that's where another set of jacks here in the middle would take that tire bounce out, because I think I've got too much weight off of these wheels. The solution was even simpler. I just cranked up this side the same number of rotations, so I cranked them 8 turns up, and then guesstimated with some blocking, threw some blocking under these 2 axles, and then just cranked them back down that same 8 turns, and I took all the jiggle out of it. I mean, like, it's real solid. Here, we'll show you. Like before, you had that crazy bounce, and now, like there's nothing virtually. It's real solid. Level. Let's put the fun part on it. It's gonna take a little finagling to get past that spare tire holder. I'd take the spare tire off, but man, I just like the way it looks, you know? I think we can get her. Just slow and steady, and something will happen. I don't want to tilt it too much because those straps slip and you got a real surprise on your hands. Catch it on the swing. Swing, baby, swing, and catch. Okay, parking brake. I might be able to push it far enough to. There. Ha! Nothing to her. Once you got one wheel on, you pretty well got her beat, I think. Gentle. What do you say we do dry run? I got this up high enough. I'll take you through the odds and ends that still need to be done. It's not finished. There's a few things that I'm sure it'll be ongoing, but it feels good. Let's see how easy it goes. Well, I don't think it gets any easier than that. So far, so good. I got my controls on this side, so I've got lots of room to walk. These are 2 2x10s. I got plenty of space. I'm gonna put a couple of cross members in Either, well, it's a toss-up. I'm either gonna put some cross members in, or I think what I might run is just to strip a 2x4 in the middle. So when a guy's adjusting setting the log and stuff like that, you can step out here and have something to rest your foot on. I got these bars, but they're inconveniently spaced. And then there's a few spots like this where, you know, no man's land, and well, I don't want to plummet. I'm gonna fill the front in. I think ideally what we're gonna find is a toolbox to throw the jack handle, a level, a chainsaw. You know how it goes. By the time we're done, we might have 2 toolboxes on this thing. Weather tight. And yeah, that's basically it. These, if you remember from the video where I brought this home from Alberta, these would hit the ground. And then, so basically this trailer is gonna solve that problem for us, because right now it just catches the wood. So I'm gonna notch that out. That will allow this to slide all the way down and up. So eliminates the need for us to, I got down here, I can't get back out. Eliminates the need for us to have 2 sets of those stops, long and short, which is kind of what was described in what I was reading. Guys would have 2 different sets. Set of mud flaps, I think, ideally on here, wouldn't hurt. Of course, because these were bumpers, they've got a license plate hole. We'll patch those and a few other things. I don't care how many Google searches you do, you're not gonna find a sawmill trailer like this. Now these logs are actually going to be used to finish an upcoming video, so you're definitely going to want to stay tuned for that, because, well, you know, we'll transform them into something. My limited sawmilling experience, well, you're looking at it. This is the second log, so pretty sure you just get it as flat as possible and kind of get her lined up, get the dogs dug in, and I don't know what we're gonna do. Start squaring it up and see what we can get out of it. The plan is to use this material and the other trees we take on as the timbers for the Spruce Stomper shop. I think I've settled. My heart says 6x6s are enough, but 8x8s would be that much cooler. But they do take up a little more space, don't they? So I'm thinking maybe 6x6 posts, and then we can cut like 6x10 or 6x12 beams. I think that would look good, and it's plenty strong enough. We're not spanning any distance, but let's just see if we don't just turn it all into firewood. Let's start there. And then I also figured that a guy should take, I gotta build a holder too here, I think. Somewhere on this fender maybe, so these aren't in the way. Oh, that'd be great, a flip up table, so a guy could have somewhere to work a little bit. If I just had a table that flipped up here for transport, it was out of the way, but then it flipped up somewhere back there, so it's not in the way of loading the mill. Anyways, one project at a time. I thought it would be good to crank this up. We got water in it for lube, but I thought we should roll it down the track now that we've jostled everything, and ensure that it still tracks appropriately. Yeah, we definitely got the log too long. I cut him extra, in the bush, just in case. But she is a little bit like, it's only gonna cut to right there, so Let's see what that says for length. Hopefully that's 16 feet. That'd be real ideal. 16 foot 2. So when they advertise that you can cut 16 foot, I'd have to snake this back a little bit, which is fine because I don't need full 8-foot timbers anyways, but it's something to remember. If you needed longer full 8-footers, it'd be better to pre-cut at 8'6" and mill them out of that rather than cutting them in the woods at 16 foot, which I guess I could do on this one, but I just want to cut a big log, you know? Let's see if we can't buck this off without touching any metal. Soup mix, of course. So depending on what order you're watching these videos in, these are brand new. They were out of the kind of the yard estate cleanup where we sold the Dodge trucks. There was 2 pairs. My cousin got one and I got one. So I'm doing my best to be consistent wearing the chaps. I just watched a video where the channel Guilty of Treason and the arborist, and he nicked his pants with a saw and was glad he was wearing cut-proof pants. So I'm making the effort here. Of course, it's going to run out of fuel, right? Right in the middle of the shot. Why not? I don't want that to fall all the way down. There's a little bit of trailer wiring we haven't secured yet, and I don't need it to hit it. There we go. Oh man, look at that. Look at that. Good chunk of firewood we got there. What do you think? Maybe I'll get my splitting maul out and put on a flannel shirt or maybe a pair of suspenders, and I'll split this with a splitting maul 57 times, making YouTube shorts. You notice a trend in this? I think it should be a rule. If you split wood in a YouTube short, then you should be required to show the wood furnace that you are going to burn it in. Because some of these folks, I'm not 100% convinced they need the firewood. I think they just might be reasonably attractive people splitting wood for the attention. But who am I to judge? We're just making this up as we go. All right, folks, here we go. We're locked and loaded. Let's wind her down and get our first cut. Also, probably should have gone the other way with it, maybe. Not like that. Damn. Now it's a tractor job. Crushed my earmuffs. Isn't that unfortunate? I obviously went the wrong direction with that. I thought I could get it, but the other thing is those dogs are in backwards, or the stakes are in backwards. I forgot to switch them around because it would have slid over them if they were the right way around. I'd explain to you what I just learned there, but I'm not entirely sure. But I definitely know that I learned not to do that. Well, there you have it. The mill's first 8x8. Just over 16 foot long. Run the full length of the bed. I gotta say, it's pretty square and it's pretty accurate. How'd the trailer do? I can't even imagine doing this without the trailer, to be honest. It was, not only was the project fun, but it was well worth the effort. The heavy duty fenders gives a guy somewhere to stand, get around the mill. Awesome. The lights we'll need if we ever get on the road. And as far as stabilizers go, the Princess Auto Jacks they seem just fine. What I'm gonna do is finish milling up. I got one more. We got one more log over there. So we'll see what we can get out of that. And then I'm gonna take my laser level, shoot the trailer in again, and just kind of see where we're at. As far as, you know, did it sink, did it move? But rough dimension lumber, I can't see is that it really matters. So we got a little ways to go. I got out of that 16 foot, the one 8x8. I got a 16 foot 2x8, a 16 foot 1x8, and some smaller chunks of 2x8. So really, all in all, like, here's my scrap. We're talking pieces that look, you know, like, I don't know what you guys think about sawmilling, but I mean, that doesn't look like much waste to me. They're all about that thick. This may be the biggest piece here, but as you can see, if you look down there, look at the huge knots, right? Some spots this board's only a ½ inch thick, so I don't think we wasted anything but a little bark. Just the way I like it. Just the way I like it. Waste not, want not. I'm gonna finish milling this up. I'll show you the lumber pile when I'm done. Really appreciate you watching. I don't know what the next adventure is gonna be, but dang, there's gonna be one. I got one, two, I think I got two 16 foot 2x4s, 16 foot 2x8, 1, 2, 3 2x6s. There's another 2x6, and then we got that 16 foot 8x8. We got an 8 foot 8x8 and an 8 foot 1x8. So